Because you do drink coffee and tea, are you okay with a best mom ever mug?
I'll keep it out for a little while, and then I will reuse, reduce, recycle it.
Is it because you just don't like mugs, or because you can't take the honor of best mom ever because I'm just worried like you can't like. Welcome to Bad Parents, a podcast about three bad parents who are trying to raise good kids. She's Shauna.
Hello.
He's Ryan.
What's up?
And I'm Johnny. A Tell It Like It Is podcast for parents to laugh, cry, and to make you feel better about your parenting.
It's Mother's Day this weekend, so let's get the mom on the show to do the intro and plan the brunch and buy the gifts for the mother and the mother-in-law and buy the kids some fancy clothes. Yeah, of course, it all falls to me. Happy Mother's Day.
Whenever I think of Mother's Day, I always think of Ryan Parker singing Danzig.
Mother, tell your children not to hold my hand. Tell your children not to understand. Mother.
It's my favorite.
We didn't plan that. That was just off the cuff, baby.
It's my favorite thing that he does. And whenever I hear him sing Glenn Danzig, I think of myself, it must be Mother's Day. It's just around the corner.
I sing it once a year. I only have it once a year.
That's it. I'm like a Pavlovian Mother's Day dog. When that hits, I know it's time to order Audrey some flowers. Happy Mother's Day. It is in a couple days. So you still have time to do what you need to do for your mama.
I bet 90% of people haven't done anything yet. It seems like it's one of those last minute holidays.
I don't disagree with you.
Let's be honest.
Do you do anything? Are you excited for Mother's Day as the only mother in the room? I wasn't done the question yet. You already had the answer.
No.
Why?
I don't like it.
Okay.
I've never liked, it's just, I know people say it and I know it's oversaid, but I don't really like calendar holidays or Hallmark holidays. Where it's
It's forced.
It just feels forced.
I kind of get it because I don't like dressing up on Halloween, but I love dressing up other times of the year.
Right.
For like no reason.
Yeah,
I kind of get what you're saying. I really do.
It's just a lot of money, expense when people get on the bandwagon, like anything, prices go up.
Right.
Delivery of flowers goes up. Restaurant goes up. I went to a brunch once that was just a zoo, just packed solid with people. It was a buffet with the lines were long. Like it's just so extra. And I'm not an extra type of person.
I also feel the same way as far as like those calendar holidays go. My mom lives in Vancouver on Vancouver Island. So like, I order some flowers that get delivered and then that's like, there's no time kind of spent. And like, so that's kind of whatever. And my wife, and I feel bad saying this. My wife is the person who Valentine's Day isn't a big deal. Mother's Day isn't a big deal. You know what I mean? Those sort of holidays, they just don't mean anything because I think we do enough throughout the year that it's just like,
it's good.
And sometimes the only reason Mother's Day is ever a thing is we just kind of use it as like a benchmark for an excuse to do something.
Okay.
Right. And so my kids are young enough where I said, I always like to ask in case like there is something that I'm totally missing out on.
Yeah.
What do you want to do for Mother's Day? I just want to hang out with my kids.
Yeah.
Okay, done. And we can do that anywhere. We can do that at a farm. We can do that in our basement. Like it's all good. She's not looking for anything special.
And when they're little like yours are, that age is adorable. They're doing usually a craft or something in school.
Right.
They're excited about it. I love that part of it. I love when kids learn to have empathy and to give. So I like that part of any holiday.
Yeah. I remember being a kid and like it just came back to me. I remember making my mom a brooch and it was like I don't know, like whatever it was made out of. And it was a bunch of like tissue paper, like colorful. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And that's the stuff that means something, right?
Exactly. And your mom wears it.
Yeah,
and
that's
she wears it with pride. There's nothing better than those moments.
I do love that. You're right.
Yeah,
it's the commercialism I don't like.
As like, when Father's Day rolls around, I never thought I would love something as much as like those like, and kudos to the JK teachers and the daycare teachers and educational professionals who like go out of their way to make sure that stuff hits.
Yes.
It really does. And I'm like, wow, why am I crying inside of a daycare while my son is handing to me like a rock? That's, so like, it's amazing.
I remember being in teachers college and they teach you how to do certain things, right? Because you're a teacher and you're going to do these crafts. So we did a Mother's Day craft in teachers college. My mom still has it on her fridge. I was like 26 years old
Love it.
when I made it. And it's just Yeah, and it still means a lot to me that she has it on her fridge.
Right.
It's crazy.
Absolutely. You know, the sort of like cliche Father's Day present is a necktie, right? And I feel like that is so passe now because like working from home and like business casual, like if you're getting a necktie now, like what are you the president of the U.S.? Like,
I know.
Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I hardly see anybody wearing ties at work anymore. So is there a cliche Mother's Day gift? And let's take flowers out of the equation.
Maybe picture frame seems to be a popular, whether a homemade one or in a store-bought one, like something that says, you know, family or mom or anything like that. But some kind of a picture frame seems to be
see
very
that.
cliche.
Because you do drink coffee and tea, are you okay with a best mom ever mug?
I'll keep it out for a little while, and then I will reuse, reduce, recycle it.
Is it because you just don't like mugs, or because you can't take the honor of best mom ever because? Wow, I'm just worried like you can't like.
I have a set that I like.
Yeah.
And it's fancy, and I'm a bit of a diva when it comes to my dishes, and it's just going to look tacky. I know that's terrible. I'll pull
Hey, at least
it out.
spit the truth.
I'll pull it out once in a while, like if the kids see it. But there have been times where like, Mom, remember that thing I gave you? I'm like, no.
Are you looking forward to something this year in particular?
What?
No, like,
am
like
I?
a gift. Like, is there something that, like on your wish list?
No. I kind of did something bad. I bought myself something last weekend and said it was from them.
And I think that's okay.
Is that okay?
I really do, because you know what? It's because your kids are older. They're 16 and 10.
Yeah.
Right. And if they go out and get you something, like, sure, the thought's there and all that stuff. But then if you don't like it, then you got to go return to whatever. I always feel better. And I say this to my wife all the time. Go out and get yourself whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not, if you want me to come with you and hang for the day or whatever, and kind of like, I'd rather you just get something that you really like.
Yeah.
Instead of me just kind of like being like, maybe this is okay. I don't know.
I know, but you know what I really would like? I'd like him to get it for me, but I want it to be exactly what I want. Is that too much to ask?
What are these, eh?
Well, listen.
One of these over here.
I would say this, though, in your defense, and you've kind of said this before, because you are a mother, so you should be celebrated. But mother, tell your children not to hold my hand. But you also have a mother.
Yes.
And you also have a mother-in-law. So that's a lot going on.
It's too much.
Right. And so you probably want to chill, but you can't.
I know, that's the other part of it, is when you've got that, what do they call us, the sandwich generation. Like you're taking care of them. You're organizing it, and I'll be honest, I do that stuff for my husband, and it's his mom.
Right.
But we've done stuff where I've hosted brunches, I've organized brunches, and then it's too much.
I feel like there's a lot more pressure on me making sure that my mom and my mother-in-law, Teresa, are taken care of on that day more than
Good.
Sarah,
It should be like that.
And I'm pressure in a good way. Like
Yeah.
pressure And you know what? I think like I've never met a mom, and I'm not saying they're not out there, who are like, you know, I want to, you know, Mother's Day, I want to go to the spa and I want to do this and I don't want to be with my family. Like that's sort of cliche, like on Father's Day, like I just want to go golfing for 7 hours.
Well,
like,
it's because we're lying. A lot of us would like that.
You do
My
want that?
dream.
But on the day though, like if I got it for you next weekend.
If I knew my kids weren't going to be sad, they'd be sad, so I couldn't handle that guilt. But let's say the kids and dad were going to a Blue Jays game or something that they wanted to do and they weren't going to feel sad or lonely or whatever else, and it was guilt-free. My dream Mother's Day is a hotel stay for one.
I get it, man.
Not expensive, like just a hotel room, maybe by the airport.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a great view. You can be looking at the 427, which is in Toronto.
And I want to sleep, and I want to watch my shows, and I want to eat my snacks, and I don't want to do anything.
Okay,
I don't want to be interrupted.
This could be a good little mini segue into what I want to talk to you about. And we've talked about this before. I think different generations want different things. I feel like our generation, so you're talking about people in their 40s, my wife's friends, my girlfriends, you, Joanne, they tend to do a lot of womanly things like Mother's Day brunch or baby shower get together, silly little games and stuff like that. And every woman I know just wants to kind of do what guys do.
Yeah.
And just hang out, right? Like, you know, maybe the Mother's Day, Father's Day is different because of interest. You happen to golf.
Yeah.
You know, I totally understand you want to be in a hotel room by yourself. It's not that you don't love your family. You just want some downtime.
Yeah.
But things like baby showers and stuff like that. And I say to my wife, it's not her fault, but I'm like, when you get invited to these things, why does this continue to happen? Because every woman I know complain about it.
True. It's so true. But the older generation, I think as they go,
Yes.
as that generation leaves, I think we won't continue it. I really think it's for the older, for the boomers and beyond.
You would know the name of the movie. It starred Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, and they were getting like a shotgun wedding so she could stay in the country.
Something proposal.
And they
or
went,
something.
and like Betty White was like the mother-in-law, and she was very like
Yes.
traditionally oriented.
Right.
Right. And like the other two, obviously it was a sham wedding, but I feel like in that respect, like if your grandmother is still around and there's a baby coming,
Oh yeah.
it's like you want them to experience
Yes.
it all before it's over for them.
Totally.
Right. So you go out of your way to do these sort of like maybe things that you wouldn't do if you really had to, whatever. It's like when you get married, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
There
it's
are
for
people
others.
there you don't know because your parents
Yeah.
want them there.
Yeah, yeah,
Or your
yeah.
you know what I mean? And you make these sacrifices. I say sacrifice in a very loose word. You make these sort of like whatevers to make sure that these people around you feel okay.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think that's okay.
I do too.
Because, you know, on this Mother's Day, we are going over to Sarah's parents' place to spend time. But her main goal, and Sarah's a mom of 2 young kids, her main goal is to see her grandmother. Mm-hmm. Right. And I don't have any grandparents left. And
Yeah.
that's her last grandparent. And so she really wants to make that a real focus of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
You know what,
so
Ben?
do I.
Ben, you know what? You know what? Sarah deserves that mug. You don't. You don't want to see anybody.
What
Sarah
mug?
wants to see the best mom ever. Sarah wants to see her grandmother. This one wants to be in a hotel next to the airport
With my
by herself.
mediocre mug.
Mother!
Anyone want to guess who Julia Ward Howe is?
Oh, I just love her, whoever it is, because 3 names is the best.
JWH.
Lord, how?
Julia Ward Howe was the first one to suggest
Mm.
a Mother's Day.
Oh, really?
To recognize peace and protest war. She organized annual events in Boston to honor mothers. But
Mother! Sorry, I shouldn't
but
do that
despite
again.
her work, nothing came of her efforts. It's the same woman
That's cool.
who in 1870 was the same woman who wrote the lyrics to the Battle Hymn of the Republic after the Civil War.
Hey,
Really?
That's very productive. She had a productive life.
Good life.
Pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, during the early days of the pandemic, Verizon reported a 13% increase in phone call volume in the US on Mother's Day when compared to a typical pre-pandemic Sunday. Text messages also go up on Mother's Day by 25%.
Oh, come on now. No text.
Your son at 16 who likes to play football for some reason is at a training camp in Copenhagen.
Oh, interesting.
And on Mother's Day, in between tackling drills, sends you a cheeky Mother's Day text.
You know what it'd be? Bruh.
Are you okay with it?
Bruh. No.
You're
phone
not
call.
okay with it.
I'm not. And I'm not a traditional person, but I want a phone call. I want a phone
I
call
give
on
you that.
Mother's
You gotta
Day.
give mom a phone call, man.
I think
Gots
so. Text.
Gots to.
So on Mother's Day in 2020, 1.75 billion minutes of phone calls were done and 6 billion texts.
Whoa.
Mother's Day is typically the busiest day of the year for restaurants. It tops Valentine's Day.
It
if you can believe it.
does? I knew it. I knew my husband loved his mom more than me.
Everywhere you go, it's packed. It's going to be packed.
Yeah.
And for some reason, moms, I think it's in your DNA, loves brunch.
Yeah, we're not.
Mommies love
Do we
brunchy.
or you think we do?
I asked
That's
my
a
wife.
great question.
I don't like it.
We're going for dinner at like 4 p.m. Beautiful.
Why do men get steak and golf and we get eggs and pink?
And mimosas.
Flowers. I
Then
guess.
say you want a steak. Say you want to hit the
I want
driving
steak and
range.
beer.
Steak and beer.
My wife does like brunch. She likes a scone and maybe a little cheeky eggs Benedict, but you know, she also wants like maybe a clubhouse sandwich. Like she likes brunch, and I don't blame her.
I hate to admit it. As much as I would like to argue, I don't mind a brunch.
It's gonna be packed though. If you haven't booked it yet, you're done.
Oh,
so, I think.
forget yourself. Forget it.
You might as well just like try to like do the old like, oh, we're gonna make you brunch at home.
Well, that I do like.
Boo.
What? What's wrong with that?
Just boo.
I like being home. I like my robe and my slippies.
All right, you have to settle this. I think eating in bed is the stupidest thing in the world.
No,
Agree
I
or
love
disagree?
it. I love eating in bed.
Crazy person.
What's wrong with that?
Don't
It's
forget,
not
this
easy.
is the same woman who doesn't wash her sheets.
Yeah, exactly.
So she may have eaten in bed in
Oh, yeah.
2010.
You probably have a hash brown under your pillow.
The same crust is still there. 59% of people plan to spend money on a special outing such as brunch or dinner. Like, what's the rest of you doing? Only 59% plan to spend money on a special outing. Maybe a gift is.
yeah, that's low, isn't
I think
it?
so. According to the National Retail Federation, an estimated 33.5 billion with a B will be spent on gifts this Mother's Day.
Oh my heavens.
With about 7 of that billion, 7 billion of that going towards jewelry,
Oh, I love jewelry.
clothing,
I love-
electronics, and personal services like spa treatments will also be popular gifts from mom. What's a very unpopular Mother's Day gift? Like a waxing
Tech.
gift card?
Technology.
Depends who you're talking
But
about.
electronics
Your
is
wife
in
or are you
this.
talking about your mother? Because I would say if you bought your wife lingerie, great. You buy your mother lingerie, weird.
Yeah.
Context, you know what I mean?
Well, what if she said something when you guys were in La Senza together?
You and your
A
mom.
Yeah, she's
daughter
like,
to buy
hey.
their mom lingerie is still weird. Still weird.
It's totally weird.
I feel like you can get your wife. I think Mother's Day is a pure holiday. It's pure. I feel like buying your wife lingerie on her birthday is fine. But to buy your
Yeah,
wife
you're
lingerie on Mother's Day, to me, just
weird.
gives me a bit of an ick vibe.
Okay, can I ask you a question? So for Father's Day, like 2 years ago, let's say, I got a Blackstone barbecue. Okay,
Nice.
so it's barbecue essentially. It's not- Okay, is that the equivalent? Like as a guy, I loved it, but if my wife wanted an air fryer and I got her one, but why is
I don't know.
why is it okay for guys to get guy tooly things?
Did you throw that out though? Like, did you throw it out there?
Yeah, I
Like,
wanted
did.
it.
Okay, then
Yeah.
then how?
But I'm
you
just saying,
can't-
like, just in general, I'm saying, like, if my wife said for real, like, I really wanted a classic, like a vacuum,
then you're
Yeah.
fine.
right? It's kind of weird how you shouldn't get your wife or mother
That's
this.
changing, I think.
But-
I think there are a lot of women that want like those robot vacuums and stuff. I think that's changing, or Peloton bikes or something. I don't think it's as offensive anymore
Right.
as things become more equal in the home and the what people are making and earning and stuff. I think those days are gone where you
That's
can't
good. It should
buy
be.
her like a Ninja blender.
Do you also feel like
Gym membership.
there's a big difference if your mom's or your wife says she wants it? If you just went out of your if you just went on your own,
That's
and you're like,
true.
hey, here's a knife block, then maybe maybe
I agree with you,
Yeah.
but I think if my wife really wanted a vacuum and I came to work on Monday and said I got my wife a vacuum, everybody would
You're-
cry.
I know.
maybe
Right.
a little bit,
would.
but I
Yeah.
think deep down, 74% of moms are still going to get flowers from their loved one on this.
I hate flowers. I hate it so much. I hate all flowers. I hate getting them. I hate taking care of them. I hate when they die and cleaning out the stinky vase. I hate it. And I think nothing says less thought. Sorry, you just said earlier you're giving your mom flowers, but she lives far away.
Yeah.
So what else are you going to do?
What else can I get delivered?
Maybe her favorite meal.
Yeah,
she lives
this
in
is
the
going to
middle of
sound
nowhere.
super douchey. She lives in a really sort of like
Yeah.
interesting area of Vancouver Island where like they don't have Uber Eats. Like
Oh,
it just,
yeah.
it just can't happen.
Yeah, you have
believe
limited
me, Listen,
options.
that's the best I can do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. And she's probably like got it pinpointed of when it's showing up. Like I do it every year. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing inventive about this.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else to do.
I know.
Anywho, 74% of people are buying mom a card this year. So the same amount that are getting flowers are also getting cards.
I hate cards too.
Um,
I hate them.
if you got a card, would you rather have it? And this is for you too, Rye. Would you rather have a pre-done message or somebody write something from the heart?
Right from the heart.
See, you confuse me. You confuse me.
Make something and write it from the heart. You don't buy a $8
No-
stupid card.
Nothing scares me more than a blank card. How am I going to fill this up properly?
Yeah.
Where somebody else is getting paid a ton of money to fill
See
these
what's
for
in
me.
your heart.
Say, it depends. Are you talking about your mom or you're talking about Sarah here?
Either or.
All
I think
blank
you can
cards
say
scare
whatever.
you. I know,
All
they
blank
scare my
cards scare me.
husband too.
Right. But you confuse me because you could be so cold and dude-ish, but then you're like, I just want you to say something from your heart.
What's wrong with that? I don't want anything generic. I don't want anything that someone told you to buy, but you get a blank card and you say something beautiful about your love for a person. I think that's so thoughtful. It's all about being thoughtful.
I got you.
It is estimated there were how many billion moms worldwide last year?
Not enough. If you ask me, there could never be too many mothers. Hello, mother, like another.
I don't know, Johnny. One? I don't know.
1 billion moms?
Yeah.
How many I slept with? Is that the question? 1 billion?
2.2 billion moms worldwide.
2.2.
85 million of
That's
them reside
work
in the
cut out
US.
to me for me. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. If there were a monetary competition between the parental appreciation days, Mom and Father's Day, who would win outright?
What are you talking about? Mothers?
No.
What do you mean? What's the question?
How much was your
Who
grill?
spends more money? Do you spend more money on Mother's Day or more money on Father's
More on
Day?
the fathers. Your black grill, whatever, black top grill, how much was it? Hundreds of dollars. You're buying her $60 bouquet of flowers. You guys win every time.
I thought you meant attention.
Nope. We
I'll
spend
give
way more.
you the gift is probably more for the dudes, and I would say
Always.
attention is probably more for the moms, at least in my
We're
experience.
talking monetary. So don't worry about your
Monetary.
attention, bull roar.
Yeah, bull roar.
I got thrown
In
off talking about those mothers.
2023, people spend an average of $196.23 on Father's Day. Compared to the $274 that people spend on Mother's Day.
Maybe this is to quote Dr. Phil, maybe this is a you problem.
That's not true. That stat is so wrong.
How much would Sean Connery spend on Mother's Day?
I would spend whatever it is. What's that?
Loads?
Loads. Whatever it would take me to get laid.
Oh, God.
Mother, tell your children not to hold my hand. Sean Connery loves dancing.
I remember one time, Sean, you talked about flying out to Vancouver to have sex with my mother. Maybe instead of flowers this year, I can send her your penis.
Yes, you said you can't get Uber each. I'll deliver. I'll deliver the big O. All right, so this is a special Mother's Day podcast. Actually, can you sing Mother like Danzig? Can you try it?
Mother.
Oh, I like that. You're kind of doing the acoustic vibe. You're bringing her down a little bit. I like that. Mother, tell your children not to hold my hand. 3 times in a row I did it, Johnny.
Can you look up a different lyric?
No, it's all I know.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought what I was going to do is I was trying to find, I'm going to give you the mom, because we did this with fathers before. I'm going to give you the TV mom, and you tell me what they did for a living, but it was a pay website, and I don't want to pay. So I stumbled on this. It's from globalnews.ca, and it's actually quite interesting. It's they rhyme off a bunch of TV moms, the best TV moms and what they taught us about life. Now, here's a show I've never watched, love the movie, never watched the show. I think it's right up your alley, and that's Friday Night Lights. Did you watch the television series?
No, people keep telling me I should, and I haven't.
Because have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes, I love the movie. I love anything to do with any football TV show, football movie.
Because I think a lot about you with football because your eldest boy plays high school football, and that's exactly what this is about.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a show you should start watching.
Okay.
And a lot of people, in different articles I read, love Tammy Taylor. Tammy Taylor was a TV mom. She'd sit down with a glass of wine in hand and counsel you. Family was everything, and by the end of the show, she was the dean of a college. So,
cool.
He's kind of a strong.
I like that.
And so if you had daughters, these are the kind of potential characters you want them to look up to. Marge Simpson, they say here. Marge, she's married to an insufferable buffoon, and her kids are a nightmare.
She's a great mom,
but she keeps her cool, and she's just
that's kind of the mom vibe I have in my house. Let's just stay calm,
right.
And everybody be, kind, and nothing ruffles her feathers. I like that.
Vivian Banks, the old school. Let's go with the OG Vivian Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And, because there was 2 different moms on that show, right?
Yes.
Here we go.
Now this is a story all about how
I wish I could be like her, but she's too strict. I have no strictness.
And that's what they say here. She would lay the smack down.
Yep.
And it didn't matter, even if it was Phil, her husband.
Oh, yes.
She would lay down the law.
I can't do that,
And
but
that's-
yeah.
You know what? When you see all these mothers, if you can somehow be impossible, but take their best attributes, you'd be super mom for sure. Here's one that we all grew up watching. A classic, your stay-at-home mom, but Carol Brady, right? 6 kids. I mean, she had some help.
Yeah.
Great haircut.
Yeah, she was cutesy too.
Yeah, she was cutesy. But just about, she had the help, but, kids' lunches, making them dinner and breakfast and all that kind of stuff. I never watched Gilmore Girls. Did you ever watch that?
I'm so glad you say that. That was going to be my number one.
Really?
Was Laura Lee.
Laura Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
It says...
Lorelai?
Lorelai.
Lorelai.
It says it is a possibly...
Get it right.
Lorelai
Sorry.
is the fastest talking TV mother who ever existed.
Oh, man, I love Lorelai.
She and her daughter Rory trade barbs in stories at lightning speed, but have one of the strongest bonds on television.
She's so cool.
You know what's amazing about those 2 actors is the cadence is so crazy. The show's great, but the way that they did have that dialogue is extremely noticeable.
Yes.
It either drove you nuts,
Yeah.
or it was amazing, and I'm
Yeah.
on the amazing side.
What, they spoke fast back and forth?
So fast.
There was no pauses in between. They would the mom would ask the daughter.
Mike
it was
can't
boom,
watch
boom,
that
boom,
show
boom,
with
boom,
me.
boom.
My husband hates it.
You either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
very noticeable.
Interesting. Oh, here's a show I absolutely loved. One of the all-time great TV moms, Peggy Bundy. High heels, tight dresses, big hair. That's Peggy. While her parenting skills were questionable at best, the Bundys managed to have a strong camaraderie, banding together against noisy neighbors and family foes on many
She
occasions.
had to be one of the first moms to inject that sexual element that, hey, we're married. Hey, we're of a certain age and we still want it. And if anything, we want it more than ever.
Well, and it was even more interesting. It wasn't that he wanted it.
No.
She wanted it.
Exactly.
So she was like that strong, like, I am not questioning my character. I want my husband. I want sex. And,
Yes.
and I demand it. And he was so great because he didn't want it. Kind of like the Ropers were like that too.
That's right. And we forget that often is the case. Like the guy might, back in the day get home from work, be tired and whatever. And there were a lot of predatory moms who wanted the dad.
Like maybe June Cleaver. She's on the list. The original TV mom was as sweet as apple pie, a testament to the time. That show went from 57 to 63.
Yeah.
June was always prim and proper, had family meals planned.
I don't like her.
You don't like her?
Why?
Too perfect?
I don't like
I think you got to give her credit. She showed up every day. In probably some pretty not the best circumstances off camera.
I guess.
She showed up every day. Good for her.
Okay.
I'm happy for her.
Here's a mother I think you liked. Elise Keaton, Family Ties.
Oh, so great.
Growing up in the 80s wasn't easy, and being a parent of 3 pubescent smart Alex is a tough gig.
Yeah.
But she did it with poise, taking her kids through any situation and ending on big talks with a hug. And she worked as well, right?
I was going to say she went back to work, but also what I loved about her is it was one of the first families that showed that you can have a kid that where did Alex P. Keaton come from? There's these 2 hippies,
Right.
lefties, PBS, and she's an architect and all this stuff, like
Right.
so left and artsy. And they've got this, Ronald Reagan loving conservative. And I thought that was interesting because it's true. Your kids, they have their own personality. So I loved that part of the family.
Yeah, that was a great show.
You
That's a
can't
great
make
point.
them like you.
Correct. A show I never watched, but it obviously was huge for a long time was Roseanne. Did you watch Roseanne at all?
Didn't like it, but it's
No.
my husband's favorite show.
Really?
Yes.
And it just says basically, her whole thing was she's no one's fool, works her
She
ass
did
off.
not fool around.
She did not fool
She
around.
worked like in the steel mill with
Yeah.
everybody and stuff.
did
Like
she?
it was pretty
I think I'd like to watch it now, but it just didn't appeal to me back then.
small business owner at the end, I believe. She had a cafe with her sister.
How's this mother? This mother, I love her mother. You know what I'm talking about.
I know. Angela Bauer.
Alabama. Boo! A young Ryan Parker was confused when he said, sometimes I really like looking at Samantha, but sometimes I like Mona sweaters. A 12, 13-year-old Ryan was confused. And he's no longer confused.
Oh God, that was a great dynamic, great show.
Great
The
show.
personalities, her and Angela, their relationship was hilarious.
Well, because it kind of opposites, right?
Yes.
Mona was all about the D
Yep.
and just looking for it all the time. Angela was very square,
Yeah.
very professional, right? She ran an advertising company.
Yeah.
She had Tony obviously helping out. But yeah, that show was amazing too. I think I've seen every single episode.
Yeah, and I loved the moments when Mona was softer and said something nice to Angela, like because it meant something,
Yes.
right? Like she would say, "You're doing a great job," or "I'm proud of you." So I love those shows.
Yeah, for sure. And the last one here is Sophia Petrillo, Golden Girls.
the best.
Just the way she just was smart ass to everybody, right? And always had
So
something to say.
good.
Yeah, it was good. These are great shows to
Those
kind
are
of bring.
good.
I think then the goal
Okay.
is to watch Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
Being a friend.
I think that's what I'm going to take away from it. Or maybe have a little bit of a mom marathon sitcom. Make your kids
Yes.
sit down and watch these shows.
I would love to see like your kids watch Who's the Boss?
Yeah.
And just get their opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
Do they
yeah.
think it's cheesy? Think it's corny? Do they think it's funny?
Exactly.
I'd love to get. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Something to
I
do.
think that's what we could do.
Listen, all moms want to do is hang on the couch too, just like dads. All right, so get mommy some food and spoil her and put on some television shows.
Maybe
and just
some
enjoy the
Sean
day.
Connery.
Oh, usually I'll be over a little later. I'll put it this way: I'll be your dessert.
And if you have any questions or comments about the podcast, please don't hesitate to send us an
Or if you're a
email.
mother and like another.
Yeah, it's just badparents at curiouscast.ca. Just if you're a mother who wants him to come around,
Yeah.
badparents at curiouscast.ca. Until next time, my name's John Garbett.
I'm Shauna.
I'm Sean Connery.
Okay. This has been Bad Parents and also Bad Accents.